Now, guys, I wanted to also talk about some politics, because here we're fighting a war, and basically, I know that you monitor the news, I monitor the news, and there are some good signals from United States lately. In the last few days, there were a few, how do you call that, improvements? Can you say that?
Approvals. Improvements, like in terms of...
No, in this case, approvals of
okay.
the military aid finally being provided to Ukraine. Not provided yet, but it may be sold, but it's already a good signal. And we really have the chance, oh my god, we really have the chance to finally start getting some weapons from this administration too, which is pretty good signal. So, I am talking about that, but I also want to talk about, with the chat more, but what's your reply on that, guys? What do you think? What do you think if it's do you think we can expect a real good sales from United States of weapons to Ukraine? For example, those 10 Patriot systems that Zelensky has said to Trump, we will buy it, we will find money for it, our partners will help us, just give us the permission, give us those contracts. Do you think it's possible in the future, in the nearest one, ideally like in a year or two, that we will get those contracts, some big contracts for billions of dollars for weapons from US?
I think in general it's really hard to predict whatever Trump's going to do, because I genuinely think he doesn't know himself until he opens his mouth and starts talking. I think generally all Trump really cares about is looking good and getting praise. And I think that maybe a helpful development was when they signed the mineral deal between the US and Ukraine. I would argue on actually relatively favorable terms to Ukraine, because all the money put into the fund stays in Ukraine. It gets invested in infrastructure projects in Ukraine.
And it appears to be not such a bad agreement.
Yes, and what's an interesting component of it is that military equipment donated counts as U.S. investment towards the fund. For example, if the U.S. sends $10 billion of Patriot systems to Ukraine, then Ukraine has to put $10 billion into the infrastructure fund. And that money stays in Ukraine. So Ukraine gets infrastructure investment and they get Patriot systems. And I think Trump could turn around and say, hey, Biden spent all this money on Ukraine. I'm just paraphrasing. This is not what I believe. I'm just paraphrasing what Trump says. He said, well, Biden sent all this money to Ukraine and got nothing. I'm getting investment money from Ukraine. I'm actually getting our money back. And I think that this mineral deal maybe is going to let Trump look good in the short term.
It's not even a mineral deal these days.
Yeah.
It transformed into the rebuilding of Ukraine deal.
I'll take that.
Interested in how Trump, don't forget to add, you said Trump may say this and that, don't forget to add in the end, if I was a president, that war would not even start, it would not even happen, all that shit, that he repeats every statement about Ukraine. This war would not even start if I would
just like how he was going to solve the war in 24 hours also, right? Yeah.
Unfortunately, he cannot repeat that narrative because it did not happen already. Anyway.
Yeah. He was being sarcastic. He was just joking around, he says.
But to briefly answer your question, I think it's possible, but I think it's maybe not going to happen right away. I think a lot of other things are going to have to happen.
I want to add something, and that is, as you said, Steffen, Donald Trump cares about his image. Donald Trump, before he went into politics, what was he? He was a reality TV star. So he knows how important it is to look good. And going into this, Donald Trump desperately wants to win the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace between Ukraine and Russia. And in the beginning, Donald Trump was a lot tougher on Ukraine than Russia because he thought Ukraine would be easier to flip. He was tough on Ukraine because he thought Ukraine would cave first. Ukraine was the weaker victim. And what happened? Zelensky stayed firm. Ukraine stayed firm, and they politely said no. And this is really a key lesson here for everyone looking to deal with this administration. You can stand up to a bully and you can get something out of it. Yep. Be like Zelensky. Be like the Ukrainian people. Stand up to the bullies and suddenly find that a couple weeks, months later, that the bullies turn maybe on your enemy, like Putin, because that's who the real enemy is.